Hey everyone, before the review, I want to take a short minute just to talk about DC Amino, which was nice enough to sponsor this review. And you're probably wondering what DC Amino is. Well, DC Amino is this app on your phone that you can connect with tons of DC fans all over the world. You can participate in live chats, discussions, polls, quizzes. You can search up fan art. It's an awesome social media app that lets you connect with DC fans just like you. I personally love it because I'm able to not only talk with DC fans, but I can also post my DC YouTube videos on the app. And since we're reviewing Aquaman today, right now on the app, on my profile, I have a poll going on. Tell me what you think of Aquaman. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like it? What did you think of it? Let me know. How do you download DC Amino? Well, it's simple. Just click the link in either the description box or the pinned comment below. Follow the prompts, download it, go to the App Store, search Amino, download the app, and when you're in, just simply search DC Amino. And once you have it downloaded, just be sure to look me up. My username is Robert Storms. Don't forget to participate in that poll. And I hope to be chatting with each and every one of you shortly. So I just got back from seeing Aquaman, and in the car on the way here, I just kept going over the many different things I was going to say when I actually got in front of the camera, and I didn't know how about I would express how I felt about this movie. I was really excited for this movie. We haven't seen a DCEU film since Justice League, which you guys all know I was really disappointed about. So going into Aquaman, I didn't have the highest of hopes, but I felt if I would leave the theater entertained, it would have been an overall great experience. And the problem is, I didn't leave the theater entertained. Now, I want to let everybody know right off the bat that with this review, it's sort of like a double-edged sword. I'm kind of like damned if I do, damned if I don't. What do I say in this review? Do I just straight up lie to everybody and say, oh, I love this movie, it's fantastic, 3 stars, 4 stars, go see this movie? Or do I tell the truth and be like, at the end of the day, to me, this movie was meh. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't a bad movie. I left the theater going, okay. It was meh. I can live without it. You know, it's not something I have to go see again. It's not dog trash. So, I mean, it's like not Justice League garbage, but it's also not better than some of the other DCEU films. I would definitely put Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and I would put Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman well over this, and I would actually put this like underneath all those, and it would just slightly be over Justice League, if I'm telling the truth. And to be honest with you, I was kind of skeptical when I sat down in the theater and I looked to see how long the runtime for this movie is. 2 hours and 22 minutes. Okay, and just to put that into context for everybody, Justice League, Warner Brothers gave Justice League a mandate that it had to be under 2 hours. Justice League came in at 1 hour and 59 minutes. This movie was almost 30 minutes longer than Justice League, and that had me concerned. And then when the movie started, just many different things just kind of piled up on top of each other, and I actually thought that the first 30 minutes of the movie was fantastic. I was like, oh, this is very entertaining, it's engaging, it's action-packed, I love the music, I love the cinematography, and then something happened where it's almost like a tale of two movies. And the reason why I say that is because the cinematography, for one, changes a few different times. It's almost like there's like 3 or 4 different cinematographers on this movie, and the CGI for moments can look really good, and then the other moments just look awful, like it belongs on a TV show. And speaking of TV shows, the costume design, I don't understand. Like, some of these costumes look like it comes right out of an episode of Power Rangers. It is so bland and so generic looking, and just like, I'm expecting to see something from Atlantis. And I'm looking at this, and this looks like something from a Power Rangers episode, or VR Trooper, or Big Bad Beetleborgs, or any of the other, you know, Sentai-related shows that were in the 90s, you know what I mean? And that kind of bothered me a little bit. And I was like, well, if I could just get over the you know, costume design, some bad shoddy CGI every now and then. Because sometimes there was moments of great CGI, and then other moments it just didn't work at all. And I felt like mostly everything underwater just it bothered the hell out of me. Just it completely bothered. I understand that this movie had a real challenge ahead of itself, being the first movie to actually do something that's underwater like this. I understand the challenge behind it. It just, for me, it did not work. It was very distracting. A lot of times, the characters didn't look like the characters. They looked like something like I was playing a PS3 game at some point. When they were on land, I enjoyed it much more when they were on land. And everything involving Black Manta, I absolutely loved. Like, I think Black Manta, like, that is my favorite thing in the movie, was Black Manta, minus Amber Heard. Of course, Amber Heard was my favorite thing about the movie. But Black Manta was my favorite thing of the movie. Like, everything involving him, I liked, but he was kind of, like, wasted. He serves, like, real no purpose other than to be sort of like this pawn for Ocean Master. And I really, like, I'm like, wow, that was a waste. And I had a hard time not trying to do this, but I ended up doing it anyway. Comparing this with Justice League Throne of Atlantis, the animated movie, which is much shorter than 2 hours and 22 minutes, and I felt was a much cleaner cut of this type of story. It's almost the same story, right? And I just felt like the animated movie did it better, where this movie got really convoluted at points. Like, I understand it's the whole concept of this and that, and I don't want to go too much into spoilers because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I understand, you know, you have the two sons, the bad son, the good son. The bad son wants to wage war on the surface world, the other one will rise to be king. Like, we all know the story, but, like, at the point where he has to go on, like, this Indiana Jones journey to find the trident of the original king of Atlantis, and then the flashback scenes just killed me. It's like, you just told us that you trained with William Dafoe here. You don't need to then, 2 minutes later, cut to a whole 3 to 4 or 5 minute, you know, flashback scene of you told us you trained here. You don't have to show us that you trained here. I believe you. You told me. You don't have to show me. So there was definitely parts in this movie that could have been easily trimmed to make this movie a nice, lean, 2-hour movie. I think the movie would have benefited more if it was a 2-hour movie. And again, just some of the cinematography, the special effects, there was some dialogue problems. Like, there was something that was, like, really cheesy. And I noticed it more in the beginning of the movie. Like, I mentioned, like, Black Manta is, like, my favorite part of this movie other than Amber Heard, right? But some of his line choices that he had in the beginning of the movie, like, these one-liners, like, felt really over the top. Like, I will revenge you for my father! Or it just felt like, what the fuck am I watching? It really felt like a Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon serial at some points in this movie. Now, again, this movie is not awful. I wouldn't say, like, if you're looking forward to seeing this movie, by all means, go see this movie. Don't let anything I say, you know, reflect you on your opinion of this movie. If you like this movie, hey, congratulations. Fantastic for you. You like this movie. My buddy Adam messaged me. He's like, oh, this is great. And I was like, not so much. And I started explaining why I didn't think it was great. But the thing about movies are, you know, they're very objective. So everybody has their own opinion to what they feel these movies are. So one person can like it, another person might not like it. I don't like Homecoming. A lot of people do like Spider-Man Homecoming. So it really depends on the person and how they're attached to it. I'm not an Aquaman fan, not a huge Aquaman fan. So I'm not attached to the source material. But I did see Throne of Atlantis, which I really loved, and I was wanting something similar to that, and we got that story beat, just not done better than what they did in the animated movie, is what I'm saying. And then you add that with the plethora of different problems, whether it be, you know, phone, like, dialogue problem, the cinematography just changing, like, constantly, the bad costume designs in certain spots. There are some great costume designs, but there also are some odd costume designs too. See, that's really what separates this from being meh and bad. If it was bad, I'd be like, everything sucked. But there's stuff that's good. Like, there's good costume designs, but there's also bad costume design. So it's almost like this movie feels more like it was directed by two people than Justice League felt like it was directed by two people. Like, honestly, I don't feel like James Wan directed this whole thing, because there's so many things that are like here and there, and this whole Indiana Jones journey he goes on is like, we're going to point A to point B to point C to point D. It's like, you could easily just cut out the middleman and done something else, and just, I don't know. I kind of throw my hand up with it. It's not a bad movie. I'm going to keep saying that. It's not a bad movie. If you're interested to see it, go see it. It's probably going to be #1 this week. My theater was pretty packed. And, yeah, there's definitely some good stuff to like. I think Amber Heard was great. Jason Momoa, as much shit that I give him about not acting, I thought he was great. I thought pretty much all the actors did really good in this movie. I thought that was a good part of the movie. It's just the cinematography, the bad CGI, some shoddy costume designs from here and there didn't really help matters. Some of the jokes didn't really land. I didn't buy into the love interest between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa. So, I mean, just for me, it didn't work on those levels as where Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman did. To me, I think those are the three standards for the DCEU, and unfortunately, I think Aquaman just kind of falls underneath those. But that's just my opinion on it. I don't know, guys. I want to know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure I'm getting all kinds of hate mail in the comment box below, guys. Believe me, I wanted to come out here and say this movie was amazing. Everybody go check it out. I was really looking forward to it. But unfortunately, I'm not going to lie to you guys. That's not who I am. So I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.